Hello. Hello, hello. Today is a special day. Today is indeed Valentine's Day, but we actually have a special segment where my best friend of 10 plus years is going to be joining me today as a special guest. And so you guys are going to be able to hear her stories, and you're also going to be able to hear some questions that chat has sent in. Hello.
Hi, peasants.
What the heck? Whoa. Hold on. I knew that she was going to bring the energy, but oh my god, she's like, you just went full in for the villainous vibe. You might need to be careful about that. Some people in chat might be into that because we got some spicy people.
That's not for me personally, but y'all do you.
So they said she's going to fit in perfectly here. Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
So, I'm Tao. I'm the friend from New York City. I'm a degenerate.
Oh, okay, perfect. That's all we need to hear. You know, they go chat. We were talking about some stuff actually before stream started, and things got crazy real fast. Yeah, one of us. I told them that you were single because they asked, and they were like, "So you're saying?" And I was like, "No. Okay, it doesn't mean you guys can flirt with her."
I heard. I was watching. Y'all are a bit crazy.
Yeah, see chat. Don't you dare, okay?
Yeah, sorry guys. I'm not available like that. Also, I don't know if y'all are too old or too young for me anyway, and I'm not down for that. Also, the only person here allowed to flirt with me is Elveira right here.
I didn't know I had that right. How would you summarize your dating experience so far over the years?
The best way I can explain it is imagine a King the Ka roller coaster. Multiply that maybe 10 times. As in not in the hype, but more so how many King the Kas there are. So it's been that kind of roller coaster. I've had my fair share of good dates, but also my fair share of some interesting dates.
Okay.
I would say the first time I've ever dated was not through the apps. But then after that is when I started going into apps. While I did get plenty of dates through that, it's definitely been a roller coaster kind of experience. I've definitely met some good people off the apps. I've met a bunch of people who from the jump would want to ask me to be their girlfriend, and I'd have to fend for my life like, sorry, no. I've also met people who were actually crazy enough to try to do some sort of harm. In that case, we could talk about being safe during dates. Please be safe, guys.
Yes. I was telling them about the stuff that we do to be safe on dates. So yeah, if you want to talk about like, date safety, feel free to go into the whole spiel.
Oh yes, so I think early on when I first started using dating apps, I created this whole emergency system with a few of my friends where depending on how the date is going, I would text them an emoji. So for example, if the emoji is a poop emoji, which is my personal favorite. That's her signal to call 911. Not that I've had to do that yet, but that was just in case. Or if there was a clown emoji, for example, that would be their cue to call me to come up with like a random story to get me out of a certain situation. That would really only happen when I'm not really feeling the person, like they're making me feeling very uncomfortable. And then I think the third part to my emergency system is here's self-defense. You know, sometimes when you're walking, especially if it's at night, you gotta be really careful with who you're walking with at night. My self-defense is you go for the balls.
Okay. Oh yeah. So this is what I talked about. Okay, you guys aren't ready. Okay.
Yeah, you know, if they get a bit too close, you take your knee, bow right at the balls. That's one option. If you're tall enough. If you're not tall enough, you just punch right there. It still hurts just as bad. The other option is I do not recommend this, guys, and I have not done this. However, I went to a very specialized kind of school that made it a requirement to learn self-defense. It's actually legal to go for the eyes.
It is?
Yeah, it is. You're allowed to go for the eyes and take them out.
That's kind of crazy. I didn't think about going all that, but all right.
Most of the time, it works and keeps their hands off me.
Good, yes.
I would say about 5% it doesn't work. Well, the 5% at that point, I'm out of there. Oh yes, pepper spray is allowed, but honestly, it wasn't until last year that I finally got pepper spray.
Oh, you had like the stabby thing, right? Before, I think?
Yeah, like what I do is I'd hide something in my sleeves because I used to have a lot of those like tactical self-defense, and I just hide them in my sleeves, and then if somebody tries to do anything, I just whip it out. on my sleeve and throw it at them. Oh, okay, not to go like crazy off topic, but legit one time I was walking at night in stiletto heels and this guy was following me and I got so pissed off because I was really tired. So what I did was I took off my heels and like threw it at his face.
Oh my god, you see what Shen said earlier? You said your heels are weapons.
Oh yes, they are. No, they are great weapons. Depending on where you live, they could actually run away from it. Definitely don't do it if you live in the south of the US though. I've heard people don't get scared by that. At least in the East Coast, people will get scared by that. I don't think I even told you about this guy. By the way, there's like 7+ parts to this story because each part is for a different man that approached me at the club.
Okay, I got it straight. My story straight. I was getting confused.
There was one guy who approached me, asked me to dance, and we danced. He was a good dancer. I'll give him that. But then he gives me a kiss on the cheek out of nowhere.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I know. Like, I didn't even ask for it. He didn't even ask me for permission. And then was like, by the way, we're going on the first date. And I'm like, no, we're not.
By the way, you're gonna get pepper sprayed.
Oh, and we exchanged Instagrams too. So then he was like, you know, you should message me on Instagram so we can set up our first date. No, I'm not doing that.
That's weird.
And then there was another guy who approached me, did the usual, oh, can I dance with you? And we danced a little. And he started dry humping me. And I had to beg my friends to like get me out of there.
This is a great seminar of what not to do, okay, guys?
Everything I'm explaining now, do not do it. Yeah. But there were actually a couple of guys who were respectful towards me. There was one guy, he was definitely a major introvert and I don't blame him. Like, well, I'm more of an ambivert. We just talked and that was it. So that was very nice of him. Then there was another guy who very respectful. Like he taught me some dance moves actually.
Okay.
On the exchange Instagram, he complimented my Tifa cosplay, but also was like the way he was commenting me too was just made me feel really good.
Oh,
he was like, oh my god, you're so pretty.
Oh, okay, like sincere comments,
like
right?
Very sincere commenting. Yeah. And we were talking a little bit about each other.
And like, wow, an actual human being inside of a club.
And that made me feel so good. Kudos to him. There were like several more people that approached me. At some point, I just straight up said, walk away. I am too drunk. I am not in the mood. And it's totally okay to say that. It's okay to tell somebody to the face, just move along, that you're too drunk, you're not in the mood. And most of the time, they would leave you alone. Because if you're at a club, it's a very crowded public place. It's less likely they're gonna try to physically fight you unless they're ready to get pounced by the bouncers and get arrested.
Oh, it's true. I forgot about the bouncers.
And yeah, and also, if they don't respect that, they can either get arrested, you can also try to move away from the situation. And I've also gotten some interesting racially driven comments. The fetishizing kind of comments.
Yeah. I told you that story before about the guy in the subway that just came up to me, didn't say anything else, and it was just like, ni hao.
I've gotten that too. I've also gotten, oh my god, you look so exotic.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that. Not that. You look so exotic.
No, I got this one weird comment. I don't know how this person came to this conclusion. They were like, oh, are you Russian? Can you be my mommy?
Oh,
I'm like,
what the heck?
I'm like, bro, how did you even get on Russian, first of all?
I feel like maybe he was trying to do a pickup line because I've heard some pickup lines that kind of like use that opening, but maybe he chickened out on the pickup line.
Right? I think he did.
Regarding the first and second date, what would you want as like a first date?
What I really appreciate in the first date is if the conversation is going really well. That's like the most important thing for me. If I'm not the one dragging the conversation on.
Like there's a 50-50, right? Back and forth?
Yeah, it has to be like a 50-50 thing. I don't want to be the one doing all the work. The second thing would be is if there's an activity involved and I'm actually enjoying it, for example, going to a board game cafe.
Oh, yeah.
Or a fun, kind of easygoing activity. And especially if it's an activity that I like to do, because it shows, oh, they're actually considering my interest. And I'll be like, okay, I'll think about on a second date with you, sure.
Okay. We can go into the whole talk about that guy that kissed you like a dog, you said.
Oh my god, yeah. It's not just been one guy that it has happened with. I think there's been a few other guys that have.
A few other guys?
Yes. But it's all pretty similar, essentially. Like, there have been a few guys where they clearly don't know how to kiss properly. I've had a guy literally just try to French kiss my cheek. I just feel tongue and saliva all over my cheek. And it's so gross.
Oh my god.
Yeah. One guy, I think he tried to be romantic. You know that slow kind of kissing where
Where he like slowly closes his eyes and gets closer to your face, like the comedy ones?
No, not like that, but like it's like a romantic kind of kiss.
Oh, okay.
But instead, he was just kissing my chin.
Did he know he was kissing your chin?
I don't think he knew. And I'm just standing there like, my lips are up here, bro. So when he's finally done, I feel a cold wind on my chin. And it's because of the saliva he left on my chin. And then when he left, I had to like grab a napkin out of my bag and wipe it off because it was so gross. Because also, I don't think he had the best breath either.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And yeah, there's been other guys in that similar realm. It was either the cheek or the chin. One guy actually aimed for the corner of my mouth. And he thought the corner of my mouth though was like where my actual lips were, and he tried to stick his tongue in there, and I'm just like, bro.
Were these like first kisses, by the way, on dates and stuff?
Yeah. For those that don't know how to kiss, it's totally okay to say you haven't really kissed anybody before. Hopefully, whoever you're on a date with would initiate first and maybe show you. Yes. Practicing with your homies is the best practice.
Earlier, you were talking about it too in regards to the date. So you said there are other ones too, but you said there was one recently where they kind of kissed you like that too, right?
Yeah, it was this very similar thing. Like instead of going for my lips, he was aiming at my cheek instead. Like it wasn't as bad, but I could still feel a little tongue.
What is with people trying to kiss you on the cheek, but then trying to French kiss your cheek?
I don't know, man. I guess they're like, yo, them cheeks look lickable.
I guess for dates then, since we talked about some bad dates, what would you say is like the worst date that you've been on?
Oh my god. This actually happened a long time ago.
Okay. Wait, is it? I was thinking about the very first time that I met you and your ex for your birthday. He just gave you an envelope that was open with, I think, like some money in it and said happy birthday.
Oh my god. I completely blocked that out of my brain. It's between that one and another one where for a second date, this guy kept trying to be really flirty with me and kept giving me a back hug in the subway.
Oh, what the? In the subway?
But it looked kind of funny because he kept trying to act like he was taller than me when in reality he was shorter than me. But it's not the same guy. Also, nothing wrong with the short kings. This guy specifically, he was trying to act like he was taller than me. But so he tried to put his chin on my shoulder, but he couldn't because short. And then he asked me if I could be his girlfriend. By that point, it's only been a week. Naturally, I was like, no, it's too early. And he gets mad at me.
That is a red flag right there, right away.
He started insulting me, being
heck no.
Oh, I'm like 5'7".
Yeah, she's tall. She's a tall girly.
I'm not that tall.
Pretty tall.
Girl, everyone's taller than you.
I didn't die. I'm complimenting you and you just roast me? I'm taking it back, man. We got some romantic stories now that we can react to if you want to hear about it.
Ooh.
All right, so this one right here, they say, Elveira, Elve's bestie, fellow T-buns, buckle up, because this story's a doozy. It probably started the year before when I spoke fragments of an uncommon language she recognized. She began giving me gifts, which I thought nothing of at first. It started with small trinkets, then larger gifts, then love letters to my email. These letters were much more bold, direct, and vulnerable than she acted in person. She was about my age, attractive, and we shared some interests. Both of us were awkward and reserved whenever we got the brief chances to talk in person. I should have handled it much better. Part of it was my own inexperience. I should have shut it down a lot sooner, but admittedly, it felt nice to be adored. Unfortunately, I was not in a position to return her affections, nor could I have responded to her love letters. She was, after all, a customer, and the primary reason she patronized my establishment is so she and her ex-husband could spend time with their daughter. Even factoring my workload, there simply was never time we could have discussed our feelings privately. I want to clarify her projections and assumptions onto me. I want to reply to her love letters that multiple of my work friends advised against it, and so I didn't. The more I pondered the prospect of a romance, the more I realized the professional and ethical lines that could be crossed. The first romance that happened to me in years was never to be. Last month, she sent me a final email asking that I treat her as an ordinary customer because my lack of desire for deep conversations was too painful. Shortly after, she vague posted on social media possibly about me. I feel guilty for breaking her heart, but I also felt trapped. Maybe I'll see her again, maybe I won't. Now that I've experienced both sides of the parasocial relationship coin, would not recommend. Holy moly.
Oh, bro.
That is a doozy for sure.
That's a very complicated situation to be in. Holy.
It's good that you did own up to it, just not like completely be one person's fault, right? But I think it's good to keep it professional like you did.
Yeah, I agree. That was the right move. Sure, it could have been done sooner. Nowadays, I don't really hear, success success stories at the workplace.
Oh yeah, they always talk about like separating work and love, right?
Yeah, like as much as the media kind of glorifies the idea of finding your lover at work, me being like, hey, where's my CEO daddy?
What?
You know, as much as we love to joke about that, in reality, it's really not a good idea.
Okay, we got another confession. I've once confessed my feelings by sending her flowers to her workplace. We did not work together. Okay. I was chasing her and she had told me at one point that it was something she never had happen and it would be really romantic to her. It wasn't a special day, just a random day. Delivery had to be let in, examined by the front desk, then brought up to the office. Too bad the same day the microwave caught on fire and caused the alarms to go off and resulted in the building being evacuated. The little card was soaked and illegible, so the flowers sat at the receptionist's desk. The office saw this bouquet of flowers with no receiver. She ended up going to a coffee shop with her coworkers during the evacuation where she met with a former match from a dating app. When I met up with her next, she said, "You'll never guess what happened," which I didn't guess correctly, of course. Years later, I ran into her and we scheduled a lunch to catch up. She had gotten into a serious relationship with that guy. I asked about the day and she told me about the fire and she talked about flowers and said to this day she still never got flowers at work. I confessed that I sent the flowers and lunch got a little heated. And that's where you stop.
Wait, so you just said you guys catch up and you just end the story at you told her that it was you.
And then things got a little heated.
That's it?
That's it.
What do you mean heated?
There's so much open-ended. I'm just like, huh?
How am I supposed to sleep tonight?
The cliffhanger. It's like the Reddit stories where it just stops and you're just like, oh, OP. There's another one. When I was in high school, I got confessed by a girl who was clearly stalking me for months. And when she confessed, she gave me her Insta and left without a word. When we talked on Insta, she confessed that she had been stalking me for months and took pictures of me while I was going home from school. Oh my god, oh my god.
Oh, nah.
I was low-key creeped out, but I didn't want to say anything. Safe to say, the relationship did not last long.
Wait, back the f up. They got into a relationship?
That's what it sounds like.
You got into a relationship with your stalker.
Or maybe it was like after the confession, they got together and then afterwards the realizations came through or something like that.
Oh my god, I got Stockholm syndrome.
But to be fair, I feel like sometimes stuff like that is also not obvious. Maybe they're just a victim, you know. That is not okay. Don't do that, chat. Yeah. Don't be creepy.
Yeah, don't stalk people. That's also illegal. No matter how romantic you think it is, it's not cute.
No real life yanderes. Okay, chat. Next one. When I was in middle school, I did not have any super close friends. One day though, one of my guy friends who I just hung out with from time to time asked me on a date. He slipped me a note in study hall and I just sat there for a second and circled no, as quite literally the day before I figured out I was arrow ace. I explained I don't plan on dating or getting married and I did not want to lead him on. I felt kind of bad after though, but that's great, honestly. I think being that direct is really good. That's something people struggle with, right? Especially around middle school time.
I know it hurts to kind of have to break the news to somebody or turn them down or anything, but a little bit of pain is better than leading them on and then having the truth be found out in a totally different way.
Yeah. Next up, we have my freshman year of college. I arrived early to dance club and encountered a beautiful woman. I hit it off right away, and next thing I knew, about an hour had passed and we walked together to the club. She wasn't the best dancer by a long shot, but we saw each other's company regularly. I fell for her hard. Eventually, we befriended each other on social media and my heart sunk because she was engaged. But I found romantic prospect, or no, I loved her in her company. For the whole semester, our schedules lined up in a way that we wound up spending literally every school day together. We talked and studied, waiting for class, heads resting on each other's shoulders. They wanted to stop. One day, she broke up with her fiance. Turns out he had been married for some time. I resolved to give her some time to heal before asking her out. Alas, a couple weeks later, she was dating somebody else. The new guy put her in a position where she felt she couldn't say no. Oh no. She eventually broke up with him and I waited. The pattern continued. The years went by and I accepted that while our friendship was close, the romance was not meant to be. I learned to let go. I don't talk much now, but she seems to be happy. He lives halfway across the country and has a son. I'm happy that she is happy. Holy moly, that just kind of snowballed a lot.
Oh my god, I got second lead syndrome, but instead became the second lead.
Not the second lead syndrome.
If there's anything I've learned, don't hold things back.
You think he should have said something?
I feel like he should have. Even if she still said no, at least you put your feelings out there and you kind of like got it off your chest. Now you're gonna carry that for a long time and wonder for many, many years about what could have been.
All right. We got another story. It is very rare for me to choose where to eat when we go on dates. And so one day I had chosen a Chinese restaurant to get some wonton soup since I wasn't feeling well and was craving for it. When we looked over the menu, my partner decided to order black bean noodles. When our food has arrived, it turned out instead of jjajangmyeon, it was some sort of lo mein with all kinds of veggies and legitimate whole black beans. It was totally unexpected and honestly started cracking up while they just stared blankly at the dish. They ended up not liking it, so I brought it home for my parents to enjoy. They loved it. Not the whole black beans instead of black bean paste sauce.
I'm trying to imagine how it would taste, and oh god, I'm good.
I'll be so sad. Looking forward to black bean noodles, and then you just get like stir-fried veggie lo mein with black beans.
I would cry and dump the whole thing, honestly.
So this one says, just before Valentine's Day, one year in high school, I had bought a candygram for a crush I had, and on the day they were passing them out, he was absent from school. Aw, man.
Did their crush eventually get anything, or just not?
I guess not. Thank you so much for joining me today. Feel free to go ahead and say anything you gotta say, ma'am.
Thank you guys for listening to me and listening to all my shenanigans. Remember, if you're out in the dating scene or you want to try it, stay safe. That is the most important thing. And also remember to be respectful. Don't be a creep.